Welcome to the Weekend Must Watch on Intercut, the weekly show going through the movies, TV, and entertainment that people just can't cut away from. This week in movies, Michael B. directed as we get the third round of Creed with a knockout performance from Majors.
You put the gloves on my hand.
Also in movies was the real best performance by Rizzo Burrow, the rockiest comedy stream over on Netflix, and the cringiest award show yet.
Let's get some YouTube views.
As always, I'm your co-host Arturo Zurita, and joining me, he ain't got work, but he definitely has plans, it's Zachary Shevich. How you doing, Zach?
Not too much. I'm doing all right. How you doing? Fresh out the movie theater from another week of big, glorious blockbuster cinema. The big movies are back. I mean, they were back last year, but they're back again in 2023. We've got satisfying blockbusters to share and enjoy in the company of lots of people. And then we got a bunch of indie movies coming up as well soon because we are days away from our trip to South by Southwest.
Yeah, we'll test the audio out right here. If any of us are coming in a little too low or a little too high, let us know as we talk about the newest movies of the week. It's not a big week, but we have our South by preview that we just did last week, which we talked about having a slew of movies that are in the horizon. We've been really lucky to get a bunch of screeners, so we have a bunch of coverage that's going to be over on the A to Z site. But nonetheless, we have probably the knockout movie of the week. We have an upcoming anticipated movies, and I don't need to anticipate this one any longer because I'm going to just jump right into it. We have Creed 3, the match I've been waiting for probably the longest time because of who the opponent is. It has been a while since I've walked into a Rocky boxing movie where who I'm rooting for is the other guy who's not in the title card. I have been a big fan of Jonathan Majors for a minute, and going into this has been really interesting because we came out of South by watching one of his movies that was in one of the big competitive movies in, why am I blanking on it? Magazine Dreams. People didn't even know who this guy was. They're like, yo, that guy's he's gonna be in a lot of stuff. Now he's come out fighting Avengers. Now he's come out fighting Creed. He is a household name, and I don't know if you've received this on your end. I have been getting nothing but people going, who the hell is this man? Where did he come from? And the thing is that here on Intercut, he's been a staple. So now that he's in these big movies, it's obvious for us. But people are going into, this must be a plant. If you water a plant enough and you take care of it and you nurture it, yes, you are going to see it sprout later. And it is flourishing at this point in time. I was so excited to see Creed 3. And while it doesn't deliver on being as great as Creed 1 was, that's a crazy feat to go up against. But the fact that Michael B. Jordan directed this, and he's slated for 4, I thought he delivered to the point that I would highly recommend this being one for you to leave the house for. Full IMAX. I haven't even seen it in IMAX yet. I'm waiting to see that in Austin in that really primo theater. But this was the first one to be shot completely for IMAX, or as much as it could be. It topped the 100 mil, and this is one you need to see with an audience. So I'm giving it the full 100% combo price for me on Creed 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned Michael B. Jordan, and I think there's sometimes a hesitation with these actors turned directors. Like, what are they going to bring? Is it just sort of like a way to get a little bit more control over your product, or do you have a vision as well? And the thing that I was really most taken by from Creed 3 is the vision he brings to it, the really like amazing visuals and dynamic fight scenes that are that much more dynamic on the big screen. So it's absolutely something that I think is worth leaving the house for. You know, it's about 2 hours long, but I feel like it's one of the quickest 2-hour movies I've seen in quite some time, because it really moved for me. I was just like sitting there waiting for the next climax. It's a really satisfying blockbuster.
I'd argue it's too fast. There were rounds that went way too fast. They were saying they were going 12. It felt like 3. There were moments where it felt like, you noticed in the trailer.
It felt like it could have been another half an hour.
I, and this is the shortest of the Creed movies, which makes me think there is a version out there where it is going to
Mm.
be the exact amount of time that the other ones were, just a little bit over 2 hours. You can add a lot in 15 minutes, and I think there is a great movie within Creed 3. It is, for whatever reason, under 2 hours, and you feel it a little bit too much that it doesn't allow itself to like simmer a bit. There are moments between these two gentlemen that I think could be even more profound, that I was actually really impressed, that I wanted more out of the movie. And again, I think it's really good. There is a version of this movie, if they put in all of those little moments, where it could be a great movie. We are going to be talking spoilers for this because this
Yes.
goes a couple rounds. We don't want to get into the spoilers of what happened there. We love the performances. I don't know if you have a favorite out of the movie.
I mean, I think it's hard to walk away from that movie and not just be in awe of Jonathan Majors. And we'll talk more specifically about it when we get into our after credits. But he's so dynamic and makes the most out of every single time he's on screen. He's not
Mm-hmm.
just in a scene; he is dominating a scene. So, yeah, Jonathan Majors totally won the movie for me.
Easily. It's also a movie that's got a really great cast all around, some really good cameos. So if you're interested in catching this, again, it's worth leaving the house for. I'm not even the biggest fan of the second one, but I think that this one, for me,
Mhm.
the ratings would go Creed 2, Creed 3, and then Creed 1 still staying at the top for me. It's not even close.
Yeah, I've got the exact
You?
same rankings for the Creed movies as you.
Mm-hmm. So again, Creed 3, one of the best ones that's out there. If you have the chance to catch it in IMAX, all of the boxing scenes are supposed to be done that way. I think it's the best way to catch it. We caught it in Dolby, and the Dolby,
Mm.
you can feel the punches a little bit, which is why I think it's worth it. But there's also a 40x version of it. That is the only one that I'd say do not go see that. There is no reason, with the amount of punches that Jonathan lands in this movie, for you to be receiving them on your end as well. You're there to spectate. So Creed 3 out in theaters. Very surprising outing from Michael B. Jordan. I'm looking forward to see what he has up next. But moving
Absolutely.
on to another rockin' and boppin' that happened over on Netflix. It was the premiere of the first time that Netflix has done a live showing, meaning that they live
Yeah.
streamed this Chris Rock special to I don't know how many people. That was one of the jokes that they had in the pre-show and the post-show. We'll never know how
Mhm.
much. Ronnie Chang was making fun of the fact that they're so inventive. They came up with Saturday Night Live streaming. I'm curious to see where they're going to take this technology, right? Because there's two things to
Right.
discuss here: the new tech that they're pushing, which is TV broadcasting, and then the other one, which is the stand-up special and how it lived up to itself. The tech
Were you able
sucked,
to?
bro.
Yeah, I was
No,
going to ask,
it
did you
was
catch this
terrible.
one live? I had to catch it after the fact, but I saw a lot of people complaining on Twitter, not
Oh,
only that it wasn't working that well, but that watching anything else on Netflix at that time was nearly impossible.
you had said this. You had no faith that Netflix was going to pull up with the what's it called that they needed to be able to stream it perfectly. They were going to pull the
Bandwidth or whatever,
Showtime, go
yeah.
cheap with the servers. Oh my goodness! Not only that, they had Dion Cole DJing. Did you see what he did? He played a song, and Ronnie was like, "I don't think you cleared that, bro." So there was a lot of issues because once the stream was done, they had this like 3.5 hour live stream, but then they have to snip out the pre-show. Then they have to snip out the post-show. So when you tried to see the VOD afterwards that was sitting on Netflix, it was loading both ways and it was glitching and it was terrible. I was out, but Alina got to see it and she was making sure to record everything because we wanted to maybe make an LME on it. There were moments where it was just streaming in like 240p. Intercut has streamed better than this live stream was going. The only text message I
We
got from
try.
Alina was the Netflix streaming is a joke because they were announcing their festival as well. The tech in it could be a lot better. They were able to host the SAG Awards no problem on YouTube. I'm surprised that on the service where people actually pay, it was laggy as could be. So they definitely need to work on that. And Chris, you got to work on your stand-up special too. This stand-up special clocks in a little over an hour, Zach. Obviously, there was a lot of hype to it. How did you feel
Mhm.
going into it overall? Best jokes, worst jokes, and how you would rank it? Because this is part of his deal with Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, I generally like Chris Rock's humor, although I feel like it's been a little bit since he's given us his best stuff, you know. So I went into it excited, sure, but not necessarily like hyped for it because there's only I think so much I was expecting from it, and then there's also just the like looming expectation that he's gonna have to confront the last year Oscar incident, right? So I don't know. It was a mixed bag for me from the start, and I kind of felt like I got a mixed bag. There are moments where he's talking about the Kardashians, or he's talking about safe spaces and stuff, and it's like it's what every comedian who's now in their 50s has been doing for the past like decade and a half. It just feels
Yeah.
very like everybody else has covered this ground and you're not necessarily doing that interesting of a spin on it. And then there are these moments where he's got this cadence to his delivery and he's got this perspective, and when he, I think, aims it at a place that felt a little bit more novel, I laughed. Like I did have some fun watching the special, but it was definitely like a lot of hit or miss, at least from my end.
Yeah, it's like Chappelle's been covering the same thing 3 times already, right? For a lot of the jokes.
Mm-hmm.
This whole idea of selective outrage, which is the name of his special. But if you're not even
Well
prepared
tread
with it, there
ground.
was one time, yeah, one of the big things that people were saying was he came out and just dissed Will Smith 7 times, right? Just repeating, uh, calling him out. He repeated every single one of his jokes. He did that thing where it's like, the reason you go on airplanes. The reason you go on airplanes, the reason you go on airplanes. It's like he was repeating so many of the setups and it felt
Mm-hmm.
very unprepared for what he was going for. And it sucked because when you get to the Will Smith part of it, he botched his own climax. There is
Yeah.
a bit where he mixed up the names of the movies for what
Concussion
Will
with
Smith was.
emancipation,
Hey, what was sucked was it was such a clean cut. I like how he did the
right?
intercut thing when we record outside of a live stream where he did it. He went, I messed up. Then like he redid the whole setup. So I saw the raw version because again, Alina had a copy of that. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if they're going to be able to trim that out. You know, like they usually would
I
for a recording.
So I caught it just yesterday, and it's in there. That's the version that I saw. So
They did it
yeah,
right.
like I think there's a reason why they don't film a lot of or at least release a lot of specials live, because you want to cut around the moments when you
Yeah.
ruin your own joke to the like big climax you've been waiting a year to tell everybody.
That's insane. On top of that, they gave him some
Yeah.
meme stuff in the beginning too. He's just standing there. He looks like Mike Wazowski just waiting to get out. They were showing him before he came out, before the song even dropped, and I'm like, come on, you're making him look so bad. But yeah, it wasn't the best out of the specials that he's had because even in terms of what he's also done for Netflix, which was Tambourine, he was able to even do a long cut of that one with a director's cut. I thought that was pretty interesting. This one, for those who don't know, was also directed by Bo Burnham, which was a reason why it was on our radar. This was part of his Netflix deal where I think he had 3 that he had to do for them.
Right.
I don't know what it was like after he still has to deliver one. The Oscars happen. And it's like, can he negotiate? Is he able to get something better from them? Because at this point, I started wondering maybe he has another one in the books that he really wants to roll out, and this was just the one that he maybe owed Netflix. I hope he was able to get a little bit more from it. I like how Devesh is even saying he also messed up the part where Will Smith is not a shark. He was trying to do
Yeah.
these bits about them being different fishes and something. He's like, I'm a zebra, he's a shark. I was like, no, that's De Niro. I don't know if it was the nerves. I don't know if it was the unpreparedness for it, but that was a big thing that stood out to me where I felt that if he tightened it a little bit more, maybe the jokes would have landed better. But
Yeah.
I think it's on par with Tambourine. It just had more hype because we've been waiting. We've been waiting to see what Chris Rock had to say about the slap and some of the jokes delivered. So,
Yeah. I mean,
do
I
you,
found myself laughing at definitely a couple bits, but it kind of vacillated between like, oh, that's funny, and oh, I've heard that joke a lot of times before and
better
probably
versions
better.
of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Chris Rock, Selective Outrage. It has me interested to see what Netflix is going to do in the future with a lot of these live streams, but also like Twitch. They got to be careful because people could just go on there, say something, and those are really big fines for Netflix. We're now dealing in the realm of broadcast. Just because we don't have cable packages doesn't mean that now Netflix isn't going to act like cable because they will get sued if someone's playing a song, if someone says something that they don't want to. So I'm curious if this is going to be a positive for them. I'm curious what the numbers were. But I'm curious to see what Chris Rock has next, and I'm sure that the jokes are just going to keep coming because in a week we got the Oscars. So
Hmm.
Zach doesn't think the Oscars are going to be exciting. I'm banking on it. Y'all let me know down below or in the chat.
We'll get to those
Look.
Oscars.
There is that push and pull at the Oscars where you're going to have a really good year, so the sacrifice has to be a really boring year.
Yeah.
But we're coming off of a lot of hype, so I'm hoping that they're able to bank on it because that would really suck. Yeah, way too many
Yeah.
eyes on him. But speaking of the Oscars, there's a performance that a lot of people were surprised got nominated. And I'm here to tell you, it's not even her best performance that she had last year. Andrea Riseborough. Many different ways to say her name.
Riseborough?
Either way, I like the yeah. The,
I
she
don't
had a
really know.
couple of movies last year. I don't know either. It's because she transforms so much, even her name disappears. She was in Amsterdam last year. I thought she was really good in that movie. She was in. There's something else that she was in as well. But To Leslie, out of everything, ended up being what she snatched the award for. I think it is a solid performance, decent movie. While To Leslie is the better movie, the better performance was in Please Baby Please, in my opinion. This is her
Okay.
just going into a pocket of just going zany. This is out on Mubi, or is about to be released on Mubi, so I wanted to put it on people's radar. It had a decent indie release. It's just funny to see what they gravitated towards between the two on what was going to be the
Mhm.
campaign. But if you were curious on more Andrea Rose, I'd say catch this one over on Mubi. It's following her as a part of this like ensemble group that's doing. I want to call it kind of like a baby cousin to the Noah Gaspar movie where everyone drank the Kool Aid, but a
Oh,
little
like
bit
a
more tame.
climax?
Yeah, but a little bit more tame than that. So please, baby, please, over on Mubi, better performance from her. If you're interested, be sure to check that out.
Nice.
You caught a pilot to a limited series called Daisy Jones and the Six. Tell me about this.
Yeah, I caught the first two episodes. Amazon's released three so far. And it's a new show that is sort of got this mockumentary style to it and kind of feels almost like they're uh, going for a bit of like a reminiscent of almost famous vibe because it follows this group of young people in LA in the 1970s who form a band and their rise, but it's done in this mockumentary style where it's them in the future
Oh,
doing interviews about the past. So you know that there is a rise coming. You know that they're going to become a gigantic band. But through at least two episodes, they haven't yet, and they haven't even really formed the full band. It's a very like methodical look at the makings of a legendary band. And this series, Daisy Jones and the Edgar Six, is based on a book series that is based sort of on the story of Fleetwood Mac. If you know anything about Fleetwood Mac, that's a band that has a lot of behind the scenes
yeah.
intrigue. Their classic album
Okay.
Rumors was put together while every single member of the band was going through a divorce, some having affairs with other members of the band. So if that's
What's
the place
next?
we're going to, if that's the place we're going to in a series with Riley Keough at the center of it, that seems like a lot of fun. I'm still like, I haven't been grabbed yet. I don't know what it is, but they haven't necessarily like led done the things that make me want to follow their journey. It's a charming enough cast and it's an interesting setting, so I might stick with it a little bit more. But I don't know. There's some the dynamics feel a little bit loosely defined, at least at the start of the show, and maybe it's just because they're building. But I wouldn't say it at least grabbed me through two episodes, even though I kind of
Hmm.
like the idea and the setting of it.
Now it says it's a limited series. Where's it streaming? Oh, Prime.
On
Okay,
Amazon. Pink Sweets in the live
decent.
stream comments read the book and said it's basically Fleetwood Mac fan fiction.
Is the book good? I'm curious to know about that. I'll hop on this. So, would you recommend people catching the
They
pilot?
liked it a lot.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
but yeah,
I'm
it's
looking.
at least if you like the idea of a show like this, and it seems like it could be interesting. I'm kind of on board with it. I saw you just pulled up Scott Newstetter. Is it
Yeah.
the duo who did 500 Days of Summer behind this one? I think
Yeah.
so, right?
Spectacular Now, Disaster Artist. So
And
it's got a decent talent.
the first few episodes directed by James Ponsoldt, who I like quite a bit.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right. I'll be sure to add
end of
this
the
to my list then.
tour, Spectacular Now.
Beautiful. All right. Daisy Jones and the Six. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Over on Amazon Prime. Is that weekly?
So they're doing the thing that most of those Amazon shows are doing, and that they drop three and then they go
Three and
weekly after that.
all right. I'll be sure to hop on that. Because I have only got one weekly show I care about. Zach, and you already know what it is. The Last of Us. Penultimate
Yeah.
episode. Of course, they had to go all
Oof.
out. Did you see who they cast? I've gotten
No,
this.
actually.
I love this man, bro. And they duped me because I'm so used to him looking so spiffy, so clean. Troy
Oh, you're talking
freaking
in this
Baker.
episode. I thought there was some like Abby announcement out there.
Nah, bro. Can you imagine? Nah, we would all know about that, bro. Troy
Yeah.
Baker, the one who plays Joel in
Yeah.
in the video game, came in here as a cameo spot, or not even a cameo spot, as a supporting role here for this episode, and I did not recognize him. They did this earlier as well with the one of the earlier characters who was in the video game came back to also play a version of herself. I think that's been a really cool thing that they've been doing, bringing back a lot of people from the video game and finding a way to be able to put them in not just an Easter egg, which is really cool, uh, like an actual like role that adds to the story.
Yeah.
Because he had a pretty good scene in this. Overall,
Yeah,
though,
he was
he
talking in
just
the
continues to
post
deliver.
show interview about how he was kind of expecting to be like a clicker or something, and
Clicker.
like you said, he's a whole lot more than that.
Yeah, no, I thought this episode delivered, and I thought the stand up for this was yet again back to back episodes, if not three, since the fifth one,
Hmm.
where Bella Ramsey has been killing it. Any like, and I was there too. Any smack talk about Bella Ramsey in the first four episodes, I understood, I got it. I was a little iffy with it. I wasn't sure. I was wrong. Since episode five, since episode six, and this last one over here, she is just absolutely dominated. Any doubts that I
Yeah.
had are they're thrown away. Be it because of the way that they've been able to write the story, but the way that she's been able to handle herself. It has it's been a killer performance, man. I don't know what you thought about this episode, or who you thought the standout was, or what you're looking forward to in the finale next week.
Yeah, well, so like you, I'm consistently been really impressed with Bella Ramsey through these past couple episodes. I think I was maybe in on her before you, but like she got to do so much more dramatic work in these
Yeah.
last the last couple of episodes, and she's really like held up to everything you'd ask for in that kind of performance, where you have to show the grit and the toughness that this world kind of forces you to put on, but also show the vulnerability and naivete of being a young person. Like I find myself sometimes watching this show and reminding myself she's actually 18 or 19 while filming this, because she's so convincingly a child here. I don't know, it's like it is a really really exceptional performance from her. I think this has been maybe the most harrowing out of all the episodes we've been through
You
so
think
far.
so?
And uh, I mean, five is harrowing in a different way,
Yeah, I
where
knew
I
which one
think it
yeah.
has this really devastating ending. But there's something about like now, like of Ellie carrying on. Like now she has to shoulder this going forward, if that makes any sense. That
No,
feels a
I
little
got
bit
you.
different, feels a little bit more like she's going through it. My thoughts before going into this episode, knowing that this was the penultimate episode of the first season, was sort of thinking about the game, and without spoiling what happens in the game, because I know not everybody has played it. The game ends at a point where I was not sure I would buy Ellie and Joel's journey to that point, right? Like you really have to buy into the bond that gets forged between them. And I feel like this past episode has done a really good job in advancing that relationship, in advancing how dire the circumstances are, and how having each other is like the only glimmer of hope that they have in this world. It
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was a really I thought it was a really really effective week, and it set up what will be probably like an amazing finale next week.
It has to be. There's like no way they're gonna drop the ball, fail with this. But I've just really
Yeah,
appreciated each one feeling. We talked about the intros, which they haven't really come back to.
yeah.
But they had these intros that almost felt like short
I do miss
films out
them.
of the world of The Last of Us, and yeah, I hope they bring them back. But the characters that they've been able to bring as guest appearances per episode, this man had no reason being as menacing as he was, man.
Yeah,
I can't remember exactly because like I said, Alina's playing it, so we're kind of advanced. This episode is ahead of where she's at. So I'm
right.
about to see how his character or adjacent, because I don't remember him, how he plays in the game. But shout out to him. There was just this like subtlety to him in the way that he was manning his own group and how that's been compared to other people that we've met. I thought he did a fantastic job there. So it's just been really good seeing these checkpoints that they've been able to hit up along the way. But I'm so excited for how they're gonna wrap it. So a part of me feels like there's not enough time.
Yeah,
Like,
and I would kind of like a
how
little bit
long's the
more time
last
in
one?
this world.
Yeah, I
I
just I
can't
feel
imagine
like
much longer than an hour, right? And the other thing is like when you go from the game where you get so much time inhabiting the characters, like even if
that
the
opening doors.
cutscenes aren't necessarily much longer than how long the show is, you spend so much time because you're going in and out of buildings and fighting clickers and stuff. I
Oh, and the
wish there
notes and all the
were
stories that are built.
yeah, I wish there were maybe a couple more episodes. I sort of feel now that we're where we are, I wish they had divided the games into two seasons rather than, as they've sort of said, trying to do a season per game.
Hmm. They're gonna end up Game of Throning themselves. They're not gonna put out the next game in time for the part three. But hey, if they are able to give us a super long episode, I would be really excited for it. I don't see a time here. I don't know if HBO shows a time, but damn, y'all have had 90-minute episodes. Make this one too. You make this a whole finale. I think you
Hmm.
have one of the best endings to a season that HBO has had in a long while. So I am extremely excited for the Last of Us finale. We are we are doing I don't even know what with our schedule because we'll be at South by. We have a movie, we have some XR stuff, we have some barbecue to eat, most importantly. But
Yeah,
there's
maybe
that
Eric
glorious
Andre that
daylight
day.
savings time.
Oh,
It's too
y-
much to fit in the
yeah,
Oscars,
dude.
but we're gonna make it work. I am excited for the finale of it, and excited for all the stuff that we have next in store. But even
Yeah.
bigger than that, probably the biggest thing that we have in the horizon on that night is the Oscars, which we're about to break down. But before we do, Zach, give a shout out to our Academy members, the patrons.
Absolutely. We will thank those Intercutie patrons, the wonderful people who are supporting the show. They are Ewan, Ronette, Julieta, Tim, Elizabeth, Josh, Ashley, Brady, Sean, Marion, Michael, Mr. Kobayashi, Nick the Monty, LaShawn, Devesh, Nick, and Diana. Our Academy level members are Tushar, Cademan, Connor, Pete, May, Ricky, Joe, and Janicia. And of course, a big thanks to the producer level patrons. They are Awkward, Udenvir, and Sam. Thanks again for all the support. And then a reminder that you too can become a member at patreon.com/intercutpod, where for as little as $1 a month, you can sign up for patron benefits like early access to Intercut episode outlines, early access to some Intercut episodes, including our most anticipated movies of the year video is live for the patrons now. You can get access to some private channels on the Intercut Discord to communicate with us throughout the week, and an invitation to our monthly patron Google meetings where we chat about the latest in film. The next one of which we'll probably be doing live from Austin, so you can join us for some barbecue and a recap
Scratch and
of the
sniff.
best from South by Southwest, a recap of the
Long time
Oscars.
machine.
We'll probably have to talk about some Oscars stuff on that stream. It's gonna be fun.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
It's gonna be great.
patreon.com/intercutpod.
Let me add on that. The one that he was talking about for the anticipated movies of the year also should have a bonus
Right.
because sometimes we'll be talking about trailers. YouTube's not having it. It gets completely blocked. Can't be public. But for the inner cuties out there who are on Patreon, big shout out to y'all. You'll be able to see it in whatever form YouTube allows us to. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited for all the stuff that we have for next week. The road to the Oscars is going to be really big. So Zach, break down everything we need to know about this award season, man. It's almost done. We're in
I
March
know,
and we're
right?
still
We're
talking 2022 movies.
exactly. It feels like it's been months of circling the Oscars drain, but finally award season is winding down. The 95th Academy Awards are this Sunday, and it's beginning to feel more and more like Everything Everywhere All at Once is in for a pretty epic night. It's racked up the most Oscar nominations. It swept all of the major Guild Awards and even won the Indie Spirits Awards over the weekend. Art, are you ready for the EEAAO party this weekend? Are you excited? And do you think that this film doing well at the Oscars is good for the Oscars?
I think when Tar wins and Fablemans win, I think we'll remember this film as one for the ages because it is the best thing for the Oscars to award it. I don't think it's the best thing for the movie. I've heard people
Right.
do tweets about, oh, there's no worrisome thing that'll happen. Have you been alive for an Oscars? The worst thing that ever happens to a movie is when it wins it and it gets all of this pushback because of it. I mean, just last year with Coda, this movie, before it even got nominated, had pushback.
Yeah.
How would it not if it wins the award? This is that example we were talking about with A24 and Talk to Me. It's cooler for A24 to get Talk to Me than it is for Talk to Me to get A24. It's something that's going to help
Absolutely.
them out. If the Oscars award this, I know this is where you want to go to. Does it change everything that we've known for the last 90 something years of what an Oscar movie is? And we've had discussions about this in several realms. Animation, it's always Pixar animation. Everyone gets tired of it. We switch over to the Spider Verse animation. That Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle thing that came out today is still in the realm of Spider Verse. At what point
Hmm.
does that become the new cliche? So while it's great that, A, if everything everywhere wins, at what point down the line does it not just become the new cliche? And I love the movie. I love the movie. I love the movie. I love the
Yeah.
movie. It's great. I love the movie. Who do you think benefits from it more?
I mean, definitely the Oscars, particularly when you consider that they have this reputation for being kind of like stuffy, for being like the old white guy awards. Like more and more, the Oscars don't really look at that. The movies that people call Oscar bait, stuff like maybe Armageddon Time or She Said or Empire of Light, like those movies were almost completely shut out of the nominations this year. But in the past 7 years, Moonlight won Best Picture, Parasite won Best Picture, Coda last year won Best
Big
Picture.
Hero
There,
Time,
that's
no?
not
Yeah.
like traditional Oscars bait. Fablemans and Women Are Talking will be lucky to even win like one category,
Hey,
and
hey,
this like
hey.
very, I, where it's just real. Like they'll be lucky, they deserve it. But it's seems, at least if we're gonna go like by Gold Derby standards, to be setting up for a lot of everything everywhere all at once love, which it's exciting because I am excited by the idea of an academy that's willing to embrace weird, out there, challenging experimental movies like Everything Everywhere All at Once. I am a little bit maybe like wary that their version of embracing something that's outside of the norm is like, as long as it sort of makes me happy in the end, like that's the sort of aligning factor between this, Coda, Shape of Water. There's I'm not going to put Moonlight and Parasite in there because I think those movies were just sort of considered to be like the outstanding dramatic works
There you go.
by notable filmmakers. But when we're talking about some of these other ones, like I hope it's not sort of, I like that everything everywhere all at once is challenging people, but I hope that they don't need to be like lifted up by their challenging filmmaking, that they will just embrace challenging filmmaking going forward.
The only thing more annoying than everything everywhere, sweeping or winning a lot, is it coming back with nothing and not hearing the end of it. So I'd rather it
Yeah,
get something.
that's
Because
true.
that would
That's
be
true
so
too.
annoying. We said
Yeah.
this earlier. We covered it. When the directors of the movie have to come out and tell the fans to simmer down, that's on another level. Like, yo, I don't know what multiverse you have the good everything everywhere all fans, but damn, there is too many of them that I see it being a mess if it doesn't win what they want. But I
Yeah.
am still rooting for it. I think it would be the biggest win for A24 if it were to take the big one.
Yeah, I mean, they have never won the top prize. I think the biggest Oscar they won was probably the Brie Larson Best Actress win for Room. But between Everything Everywhere All at Once potentially winning Best Picture, maybe being a threat to win Best Actress, probably winning Best Supporting Actor, maybe Supporting Actress as well, and then Brendan Fraser has been gaining momentum. He won at the SAG Awards. He potentially could come home with a win for The Whale. It would be there is a potential that A24 could win every single major award at this year's Oscars. What do you
Okay,
think?
so tell me.
Yeah. what do you think about that? Like, what do you think that would mean for A24? Do you feel like this is a part of a larger momentum shift away from traditional distributors like Searchlight or Universal and more towards boutiques like A24 and Neon, which also had a Best Picture winner on its hands a couple of years ago in Parasite?
You think the Academy has changed?
I think so. I mean, look, they responded to the Oscars so white backlash by drastically expanding the Academy. And yeah, that hasn't really resulted in the exact change that they've been hoping for. But I think what it's done is diversified the opinions that are in the Academy. It's youthened their ranks a little bit. So they're embracing films that are maybe not necessarily like the more traditional type of Oscar movie. I think what they've done in while they haven't necessarily fixed their problem, they have
Mm-hmm.
changed what the average voter is going for. I think there's
Mm-hmm.
a different like consensus with this
A pool, a
Academy
different
than
pool.
the Academy of
Yeah,
5 years ago.
I want to believe that. I really do. I
Yeah,
worry that it's a shift for the moment. That's just me.
yeah, potentially.
How many
And the thing
do you
is
have
that
it
they
winning? We have a question here from the
everything.
chat. How many Oscars do you
Yeah,
guys think EEAO takes home? It could be the first sweeper in a while. We'll be interested to see if the Oscars want to spread it out. I am always, I don't want to say spreader. I like it when the Oscars spread it out. I think it's cool when you have different
same.
people who are able to come to speak on the project. Different projects are able to take things home. But a sweep would amplify its exposure a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, so it's nominated. I think it was for 11 Oscars, and technically it can't win all of them because two of those nominations are for supporting actress. I would say that it takes somewhere in the range of five, like give or take one. I think um, we can actually go through the categories if you want to in a little bit.
Shoot.
Um, all right, so why don't we actually just start this from the bottom, and we'll get to those big everything everywhere all at once. Man, that is such a mouthful, and it doesn't get any easier to
Yeah, yeah,
say
yeah.
a year
Everything everywhere.
later.
Just say that. Yeah.
Everything everywhere.
Get ready for the
All right,
sequel, bro.
so just talking about the shorts, I don't know how many of these you've had a chance to talk about. I know you gave Le Pupille a big shout out on the podcast well before it got nominated for an Oscar.
Because we
Is
got
that the
y'all.
one that you is that the one
Mm,
that you're hoping wins in best live action short, or do you have another favorite?
I still have to finish the wrap up here, which we'll have completely ready for our Oscars coverage. But at the moment, between that and Night Ride, I do have La Pupille above
Ooh,
Night Ride, but I thought Night Ride may have the potential because of the way it was able to play at some fests.
yeah, I kind of like Le Pupille as well, although I'm still
They're
getting
good.
through some of them too. Have you caught any of
Disney
the
Plus.
documentary shorts yet?
I have seen a whopping one. The Martha Mitchell Effect. I thought it was a really good movie that came out of a festival that it played in the shorts. Lena put it on my radar, premiered at Netflix, and I thought it was really interesting. I know that Stars even has a spinoff, like a whole series with Martha Mitchell. So I'm curious to see if that's been something that the voters may have, but I got to go through the rest of them.
Yeah, same with me. When we're going to best animated short, this is the one that I've
Here
seen
we go.
more of, although I haven't seen all of yet. But of the ones I've seen, Ice Merchants is
One,
my favorite.
two,
Shout out
three.
to Zhao
Ice Merchants,
Gonzalez. Let's do
baby.
it. Yeah.
It's not even close. Now, look, I still need to catch Flying Sailor and Ostrich, which I have links for. Um, the boy, the mole, the fox, and the horse, and the whatever else they're adding to that is an Apple movie that is based off of a book. So I think it's been able to have that Apple traction. I
Right.
worry that Apple bag that they were able to secure last year is still going to be pushing it. There's nothing wrong with that short. It is beautiful. It is beautiful. Man, I prefer My Year of Dicks, which is streaming over on Hulu. That's a funny short. That is a really good short, and I think it would be hilarious to say dicks at the Oscars. They've said poop in
Right.
the nominations. Imagine how much more it can go. I mean, it can't be worse than what happened last year. But my pick here has to be Ice Merchants. This is available online. We've talked about it out of Chicago. We've talked about it now that it's on the New Yorker. Forget the awards. That is like that's a short that rivals feature length films, and I'm gonna leave it
Yeah.
at that.
It brought me to tears, and again, it's just a short. So shout out again to Ice Merchants. All right, let's get to best international film. Uh, I don't I don't know how I feel about this category. I haven't really been like overwhelmed by any of these movies. I've been maybe a little underwhelmed by them. I feel pretty confident that All Quiet on the Western Front will win it, given how many other nominations it has. I would be, I guess, a little more psyched for EO, just because like it's the donkey movie, even though I don't.
That's my sleeper hit, but Close I think is the best one out of all of
More than
this.
Quiet
But
Girl.
you're
I know
right.
you really enjoyed Quiet Girl.
Yeah, like Quiet Girl is right there with it. Don't get me wrong. But it'd be weird for All Quiet to have gotten all of those nominations and then lose here.
Yeah.
But I would highly implore those last three at the bottom of that list. Watch it if you can. Quiet Girl, Close, and the EO. It's really good.
In best documentary feature, most bets are going the way of either Navalny or All the Beauty and the
Interesting.
Bloodshed. I personally, I really loved Fire of Love. That's my favorite out of the nominees here, even though it seems like it's not necessarily a favorite to win it. What would you like
Yeah.
to see win?
As I always say, I don't go into these doing over unders. I'm not here to do sports betting. I wrote with
Predictions,
my
yeah.
heart. Fire of Love and
Let's
A House
go.
Made of Splinters. Those are my two. I
Oof.
really hope one of those take it. All of them are really good, so I'm really happy with the lineup they have here. But if Fire of Love can take it, or House Made of Splinters, which has been doing so much press and houses and stuff for it, that'd be a very interesting one to see win as well.
Yeah, I kind of think Navalny ends up winning it.
Oh, you
At
like
best
Navalny?
animated feature, it looks like it's going to go to Pinocchio. I know that there's a lot of love for a lot of these movies. I got to rewatch Marcel the Shell with Shoes On a couple weeks ago. That is a really special, beautiful movie. That is the one that
Uh
would
huh.
make me the happiest of the nominees to win.
Yes. I would love Theo to get it. If they go up there, pull a Mean Girls, and split it to everybody, this is the one year where I think they
Right.
knocked it out of the park with every single nomination. There's always that one Disney pick that we all go, ugh, wow. One of the
Hmm.
best Pixar movies that they released in a minute. The Netflix stuff for Sea Beast is fantastic. Puss in Boots has ride or die fans like I haven't seen in a minute, man. I don't know if they
Hmm.
just grew up with Shrek or if they just really love Puss in Boots, but people love that movie. It can go anywhere, and I'd be very happy for it. But I've been love. It's been a blast to hear Guillermo give speeches. I think he's done. He said something cute in every single one, so of course I'd like to see him say something in the main stage.
Definitely. Getting to
But can
best
you imagine a
visual
tiny
effects.
Marshall?
Yeah, goes onto the stage. I would, that would make my night. That's would be the best moment of
Yeah,
the Oscars. Yeah.
I hope they do
They
the
should
thing
have
they did in
Marcel
like Up
presenting.
2. Yeah, no. Do you remember when they did that thing where it was like Shrek and they were there, and like Toy Story and they were there? Like, come on, get a budget.
Yeah,
Come on,
right.
Oscars.
Yeah, you want to attract more
Ridiculous.
audiences? Get Shrek to
I
present
want to
more
see
of
the
the awards.
I want to see the Navi there. And not like what's his name did, Ben Stiller. Don't do that.
Speaking of which, best visual effects. I think this one's got to go to Avatar: Way of the Water. I can't imagine it
Easy,
going any other way. Yeah. With
easy.
best sound, Top Gun right now is the favorite. Would you go with Top Gun, or are
Mm,
you riding out for Batman?
damn. I'm gonna stick with Top Gun on there.
Yeah, I mean, nothing like the sound of the jet engines roaring, right? Best
Mm,
song, if anything but Natu Natu wins here, we riot.
wow,
Although
that's
I'm so
crazy.
excited,
Yeah.
once again, so excited to see my boy Sun Lux performing at the Oscars. That's crazy.
And that's gonna be awesome. That what I'm just looking forward to is just them being able to have actual budgets for their performances up there, because that's really all that matters. That's what's gonna be remembered over the song or the winner.
Dude, I
Sorry.
mean, they're performing Natu Natu at the show. Like that's,
They got
I'm
that's an
so
opener.
excited for that. That's where,
You
yeah,
don't
ooh.
open it. You don't open it with "Lift Me Up." No, you started off with "Not to Not to."
Yeah, let's get the party going. For best score, the Vegas money is headed towards Justin Hurwitz for his Babylon score. Is that the one
That's so
you'd like
sweet.
to see win? Yeah.
My man
I mean,
is
come on.
four
Just,
for four. Yeah, I think he's good.
yeah,
He's solid.
Voodoo Mama by itself would be enough here.
Mm-hmm.
Production design, I'm a little surprised to see that much
Wow.
favoring towards Babylon. Is that the one that you'd like to see win in production design?
Um, I wouldn't mind it winning, but something actually has me thinking that All Quiet on the Western Front's gonna get on there. To me, they've locked down like dude. IndieWire, sponsored by All Quiet on the Western Front. I've seen so many outlets put up those visuals. The FYCs are crazy for All Quiet, and a lot of it has to do with the cinematography and the production design. Something
Yeah.
tells me that they did enough push that they went over voters. But I would love to see Babylon. Avatar is interesting to me because we're in that new realm where production design digital. It is,
Right.
but it's not. You know, Fablemans.
Right. Like
I love
there's
Fablemans,
an
but
argument that it should be Avatar, but I don't know if that is an argument that voters are ready for.
so I'm good with Babylon. Babylon had crazy sets. We just rewatching
Yeah.
it on Paramount. It's beautiful.
I think I'd like to see Babylon win this one, although I have this weird feeling that Elvis maybe could sneak this one
Really?
out.
Okay.
Yeah. The one that Elvis is favored for here is best makeup and hairstyling, slightly
Really?
ahead of the whale, according to Gold Derby. Although I don't really understand how this points thing works because they've got more points, but the odds are better. Whatever. Uh, do you think this goes the whale's way? Do you
No.
think that it
Oh,
should have
yes, yes,
gone the
yes, yes, yes.
Batman's way?
Okay, so again, I'm worried about All Quiet. A lot of push for the makeups on the kids. But have y'all seen the behind the scenes to the Batman? It's the guy who did the makeup for Colin Farrell, Penguin. The behind the scenes doesn't just look incredible. This guy went on tour with The Weeknd to do his after hours face stuff. This guy kills it in everything he's done. The work he did here should be awarded. But The Whale just put out their extensive making of and the costume that they had to put him in. Feel how you feel about the movie, but damn, that looked really good. And in the movie, it works. Elvis has been memed for how it looks like his cake face is melting off. I don't understand how we're awarding this. The biggest standout about the makeup and hairstyling is that my man went from looking like Woody to looking like Mr. Potato Head. It's been a joke for the makeup and hairstyling in this movie. So I don't understand it being that high.
Yeah, I would go with the Batman among those choices, but I feel like Elvis is going to pull it out.
I hope the whale
Best
pulls it
film
out, please.
editing. Now, the interesting thing about best film editing is that this is often a category that is aligned with the best picture winner. Not every time, but a lot of times it is a good indicator of the
Mm,
strength that a film has to potentially win best picture, which is why
all
you
right.
see a lot of the guesses going everything everywhere all at once's way. Do you think it should win?
I'm gonna go simple here. I think the best editing in this category, it's not. We're not arguing. It's Tar. Even if you find it boring, the best editing is Tar. But I'm going simplicity.
Go.
I want Top Gun Maverick to take best film editing of the year. That's what I'm going for. This is a
Wow.
movie that has caused the public to go rewatch it how many times? It broke records at the
Hmm.
box office. That's how many. If that's not for its brisk editing for a 2-hour movie, I don't know what else to tell you. I hope everyone loses their bets here for EEAO. I hope this is the one that does it. Just being mean about it, but I would love for it to be Top Gun. I also want to give a shout out to Elvis. It got so much trash. I just trashed the hair and makeup, but the editing is where it went so gonzo, and I loved it. I don't
Yeah.
think it should win though. My pick is Top Gun Maverick. Are you
Yeah, a
sticking
lot of
with
good
E?
choices here for editing. Um, I
Like
don't know.
what?
I do really love the editing and everything everywhere all at once. I agree. I kind of want to spread it around, and Tar is so like precise and perfect, but I wouldn't be upset about everything winning here.
It's not the best editing. It could have been tighter. It's
It's the
great
most.
editing, but it's not the best. And sometimes they award.
It's the
Well,
most editing.
Elvis. Interesting. Elvis
The,
or
that
Everything
it's
Everywhere?
got it definitely gives
Oh,
it a run for its money.
that's a double feature that I would not got to immediately afterwards.
That's the overstimulation double feature of the year. Best
I'm
costume
sticking with that.
design. Uh, Gold Derby has Elvis favorited here, but they also think Black Panther: Wakanda Forever has got a shot. Interestingly, I think everything, everywhere, all at once picked up the Costume Guild awards. I, I, I don't
What's
know if
up?
that means
What's
that
going
it
on?
has. I think it's just like I think it's this a similar thing to what happened with Coda last year, where it took a lot of people a long time to catch up with the movie, and now they're riding the wave of how good it feels to watch everything everywhere win and everybody get excited about their speeches. It, it
It's
just
because she had the
it's
Elvis
more
outfit.
fun.
So they got the
It's more
wrong reel
fun
for
to
that.
watch Everything Everywhere's team win than it is to give Kate Blanchett a third Oscar. But we'll get to that. We'll get to
We'll
that.
get to that.
Costume design.
Look, I like the stuff in Elvis. I did a deep dive on the costumes there and how detailed they were able to go, not only
It's very good.
with the historical aspect of it, but to also make sure that the way that it draped on his body draped the same way that it draped on Elvis. Black Panther is coming back with Carter being able to win a follow up.
Hmm.
It's anyone's game here. I'm locking in Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris.
The only true winner of the night. I think it's going to go Elvis's way. I think partially
Well,
because maybe
fair.
Black Panther is a sequel. Maybe it gets some sequel knock, but I don't know. Uh,
Maybe.
it's surprised to see how strong Elvis is doing, considering that like that movie is very average. That movie is very mid to me.
Stop. Stop. I'm not
Best
saying it's the best movie of the
cinematography.
year.
Best
Elvis.
cinematography is right now favorited to All Quiet on the Western Front. Are you going to give it to that? What is your favorite, at least, from these nominees?
My favorite is Bardo. I thought what he did with Bardo was so eccentric. I thought he was able to do new things with the way he was able to catch the cinematography there. All Quiet on the Western Front. I saw 1917. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for arriving here this year. But like I've seen
Right?
it already. Empire thematically, I've never seen a movie clash with its cinematography and its themes. Tar is too subtle, but I think you and I both appreciate it. And if they're going
That
for
would
the
be my
most, I
pick.
see Elvis. But yeah, my favorite is Bardo. Again, All Quiet on the Western Front's FYC, I feel has it on lock. They've done too much.
Yeah, I agree with you. Even though, like, yeah, we just do this 2 3 years ago with 1917. Like, I don't really get it. Um, I personally think that Florian Hofmeister is like doing impeccable work in Tar, and yeah, it is very subtle, but like if you're actually studying the compositions, there's so
Great.
much going on there. Uh, that would be my pick, but uh, yeah, I think this is a All Quiet on the Western Front's category for sure. Uh,
There were so
Original
many better
screenplay.
ones though. Has the most snubs. Where the hell was Avatar? There was so many other movies to nominate for cinematography,
Oh
but
yeah,
whatever. Screenplay.
yeah. Cinematography was a mess this
Weird.
year. Original screenplay. I I feel like this category used to be better, and then they opened it up to the general body gets to vote on it now instead of just the screenwriters. And year after year, they are awarding like not only bad screenplays,
Yes,
but like my least favorite screenplays in the category.
because they're not reading them. The
Yeah.
general voters that it's now opened up to are like voting this as their second option for best picture. I feel
Hmm.
like that's the mentality that they go in for this.
And that's partially why like I see a lot of people picking Banshees of Inisherin here. It would be a great
Okay.
place to award Martin McDonough while still letting the Daniels roll through and take the biggest awards of the night.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble as much as I think Everything Everywhere has a lot of momentum. I'm having trouble imagining it is going to do such a complete sweep. So I would go Banshees winning. And personally, I would pick Banshees or Tar. I think Tar has a brilliant screenplay. I also feel like Banshees is like so lyrical and there's so many great lines in it. I kind of am divided between those two as for what I would choose.
I think Tar is the best screenplay out of this list. I feel like Banshees deserves to win it because it's
Yeah.
McDonough, because of the run he's had. Has the screenplays not been the movies winners that are genre films, right?
Yeah.
Get Out, the
Yeah.
horror movie, like
It it
comedies.
it often is it often is the place where movies that Oscar voters like but think are too weird for Best Picture win awards.
Yeah. Oh no, we can't give it the big one, but on paper it looks really good, and then it
Yeah.
makes me think, what if it snatches this? To you, and I don't know the stuff like that, but if it wins screenplay, is that a lock? What's the percent? Like it build up the percentages. You
I
had mentioned
mean,
the editing one. Is screenplay bigger?
I don't think screenplay it has more correlation than editing, but I think given the films that it's up against here, if it would beat Banshees and Fablemans, like I just don't know if there's a lot of movies left that could threaten it for Best Picture. If it wins editing and screenplay, you can lock in its Best Picture chances.
Pink Sweet said Belfast won last year, so Fablemans, congratulations, Steven. Get your award. Guess you're losing to the Daniels for the big one.
Uh, let's talk about
All
adapted
right,
screenplay
let's
here.
do it.
The Gold Derby has Women Talking winning the award, but there's an interesting category here with Top Gun Maverick, Glass Onion, All Quiet on the Western Front, and Living. Personally, I think I'd give this one to Glass Onion or Women Talking. I like the Women Talking screenplay,
I
I think,
like the
more
women
than
talking
most
script as
people.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually read or listened to the audiobook, and I think they did a really good job of adapting it and not only like being true to the material, but changing it in ways that made it better and more cinematic for a film. I'm talking myself into giving this one to Women Talking.
I'm completely okay with it winning, but I'm going simplicity again. I think it would be great to award Top Gun Maverick for adapted screenplay.
I'd be okay with it. I mean, you say it's simple, but it's also just like it's
Exterior,
whittled down
jungle
to the
room.
key elements, the things that you really need from that movie, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
All right.
This is
Uh,
a really solid list here, though.
yeah, a lot of worthy nominees there. Another place with a lot of worthy nominees: Best Supporting Actor. All these awards have been going to Ke Huy Quan all year. I feel
That's
like
it,
this
right?
is my biggest lock of the Oscars night that he's going to win it here.
Is is there a Mark Rylance in the group we don't know about? Who's your Mark Rylance in the
Maybe it's
group?
Judd Hirsch.
Hell no. I think it's Brendan. I think a Banshees person may split the votes or something. Something may have. I don't like very low, very low, very low. It's keys.
Yeah,
It's keys for sure. But like, if a
yeah.
surprise were to happen, this is the opening award. What a way to start off the night! If
That would make for an exciting Oscars for sure.
I'm telling you. Now again, I
Who
hope
would
he
you
gets it.
like
I
to
hope he
see
gets it.
win this category?
Brian Tyree Henry,
Yeah,
Barry Keogh,
that'd be cool. He's
Keogh,
great.
sorry.
I like Brendan
That'd be great.
Gleeson's performance the most out of the ones that are nominated.
I think Brendan Gleeson gave
Uh,
the best performance out of that, and I don't even know why we're having a discussion. If we're being completely honest, if we're being completely
yeah,
honest, Brendan
right.
has been. Yeah, we'll save that for a deeper discussion later. He put in work. I thought he was
Best
lead.
supporting,
I'll leave it at that.
yeah. Best supporting actress. The momentum was all around Angela Bassett for a while, and then she
Right?
missed out on a couple key awards.
He
Jamie Lee
dropped on
Curtis
Disney
kind of
Plus.
surprisingly picked up the SAG award. So now I don't know. I mean, her numbers dropping. Gold Derby still has her picking. I think that she will still ultimately win this award at the Oscars. I personally would vote for Carrie Condon out of the people who are nominated here. I also like, as much as I don't like The Whale, I thought Hong Chow was probably the
Talk
best
about it.
part of it. I would not be surprised about, I would not be upset with her winning at all. But yeah,
Yeah.
would you go with Hong Chow as well among these choices?
I thought her performance was excellent in that movie. Like I thought it paired up with Brendan Fraser. She did a fantastic job. Carrie Condon, I also agree. That whole group in Banshees was fantastic. Even though I didn't like click with the movie immediately, all of those performances, it was like nah, this is what it was going to get down without a doubt. Angela Bassett, I would be very excited to see her win.
Yeah,
The
she
other
deserves one.
Everything
Maybe
Everywhere
not for this, but
group, I think would be yeah. It's like just not for this. I don't. I'm
right.
rooting for them more than I'm rooting for the
Jamie Lee
performance.
doesn't
To
deserve
me,
it for this either, but she might get one.
exactly. But we'll see. I like how people in the chat talk about it's all over the place with this, but we'll see.
Yeah.
This is going to be an interesting one because it could go either way,
Yeah, this
especially as
is
we've seen.
maybe our most unpredictable of the
Bro,
bigger
we really have
categories.
seen Angela Bassett, Jamie Lee, and Stephanie win for this,
Yeah.
so it can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Paul
Going to
Mescal.
best actor,
Paul Mescal's going to ruin everybody's night.
the dark horse. I'd
I'd
respect
love
it.
to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the momentum was around Austin Butler for a while. A lot of people said it's a three-man race between him, Brendan, and Colin Farrell. I wish Colin Farrell had a little more momentum going for him. He would be my pick among these nominees, but I kind of see Brendan Fraser actually taking this one home. I mean, I think he's got the story that people really want to buy into. Austin Butler's a bit of a newer face, and I think if people vote with their hearts, they'll probably vote Brendan for best actor.
Yeah, you're not worried that because Butler and Fraser have been really neck and neck. You don't think there's some crazy split that happens there that defaults to the bottom three?
That would
Like
be my ideal
they got
scenario.
right, they got the group like this.
Yeah.
It'd be cool
I
if
don't know.
Austin won.
It's
I'd be
tough.
happy for him. I don't want
Yeah.
Austin to win. He's too young. I have
Yeah.
several reasons for it. It's awesome
He
for him,
did
but I don't want him to win it.
he sacrificed his vocal cords for this role. He's never going to
That's
talk normal
crazy.
again.
Well, polish that Golden Globe on a yearly basis because Brendan Fraser should take it for the win.
Absolutely. All right, getting to best actress. I thought this was a lock for the longest time. I thought we all agreed that Kate Blanchett gave the performance of the year, not just actress, the performance of the year.
I don't know why we're
And now you're
playing.
telling me that Michelle Yeoh is going to take this one?
I thought this was a ceremony, not stand up. But I don't get what we're doing here. No disrespect to anybody, but yeah, it's not even close. I don't know what the industry has against Kate Blanchett. You've already heard my theories that all the actors got together to see Andrea lose. That makes no sense to me. It'd be awesome to see Michelle win. This isn't Michelle's best
Yeah.
performance. It's up there, but it's not her best
Mhm.
performance, and definitely up against Tar tit for tat. It's not even close. Have you heard
Absolutely.
the little bit going around about the TV shutting off the moment it goes, and the winner is Michelle? You don't know which one it is?
That'd be funny. It'd be a new Moonlight La La Land moment or something. Ah, I
And
would.
we haven't
I
talked
don't know.
ties. There's nothing this year that smells like a tie to you. No,
When was the
not
last
feeling it.
Oscars tie? I feel like that was years ago at this point.
La La Land, I guess.
Yeah.
If you want to count that.
Ah,
Ah,
yeah.
look,
Look,
I'm
I mean,
still a
I will
lock for
be
Kate
very happy
Blanchett.
to see
I have
her.
to.
I'll be very happy to see Michelle win if she does win. I just thought we all were in agreement about Tar, but oh
Yeah,
well.
it's come on now.
Definitive proof that the Daniels are better directors than Steven Spielberg. They're about to beat him for Best Director at the Academy Awards, according to Gold Derby, at the very least. I personally would go Tar among these, Todd Field, just because I think that movie is really excellent and really precise in how it's made, and it really takes a visionary. But I feel like you might go Spielberg if you had your choice of the nominees.
The best blocking of the night, bro. The best just visual direction. It had
No one
everything
does it
going for it.
like him and
It knocks it
Kaminsky.
all on all cylinders. I'm just also going to be completely honest. I respect your Martin McDonough love, and you had just said Todd Field. Those are directors who are controlling all of it. I'm not taking away from the Quants. I'm not. The Steven was in there every inch of that, directing it. You know, there was no. I'm not. I don't think they had a second unit for the Daniels either, but there was just more precision in the Fablemans. I thought he did an even better job than what he did with West Side Story, if I'm being honest.
Mm,
So I would
yeah.
100% go with Steven Spielberg. But what's worse, Daniels beating director or the Daniels getting it with everything everywhere?
I feel like it would be better for Daniels if they got picture and lost director,
Hmm.
but
They'll
I
never
don't
live it
know
down.
because they're also probably never going to get a chance to win best director again. They're too weird. They're too out there. It's a
So
complete
then,
fluke that they're here in the first place.
does
I still have
okay.
trouble believing it as much as I love that movie.
So then let's have the discussion from the top of the hour. How do you feel this is changing the Academy if you still consider it a fluke? If you don't think it's going to happen again, then has Oscar bait really switched? Or do you feel that this is just a momentary thing?
If we
You can't
go
nominate him
to
once
the
and then go
lineup
back.
if we go to the lineup of best picture, I do kind of feel like it spells the signs of change because aside from everything everywhere all at once, we have another big sci-fi movie in Avatar Way of the Water. We have another big blockbuster in Top Gun
They
Maverick.
owe Jimmy, by the
Uh,
way.
what was that?
They owe Jimmy.
No
Remember,
big
Hurt
Jim
Locker took
nomination?
it. No, they
Yeah.
took it from Jimmy the first time with Avatar.
Yeah. Well, he'll be back for Avatar 3 when we find out why
I heard his idea
she's
for
the son
four.
of
It's
God or
four.
whatever. But even going beyond that, like the Oscars have traditionally been a place where comedies have struggled. You have three here if you include Everything Everywhere All at Once,
True.
but you got Banshees and you got Triangle of Sadness too. I do think there is a shift, and maybe the genres that have been cast off, aside from maybe horror, are starting to get welcomed into the Big Tent. So I don't know, like
Interesting. I like
I would find it I would be surprised to see them continue to award movies as experimental as Everything Everywhere All at Once, but I don't think they're going to shy away from genre.
Hmm. I like the idea of a comedy Best Picture winner. I do. That puts
Yeah,
some respect on it, but I'm
absolutely.
still locking in Fablemans, man. I'm still locking
Yeah.
in Fablemans. That's who I'm rooting for with my heart. I have a question though. Is there a winner that can get announced and you just be like your night's just ruined?
I mean, I think I'd be pretty bummed if All Quiet on the Western Front won, to be honest.
You'd be bored. Be like, what would piss you off?
Piss me off. Ooh, ooh. Elvis,
Elvis?
honestly, I think I'd be pissed off if Elvis won Best Picture. Like,
Oh, this is
I
the
love
delayed
Baz
Bohemian
Luhrmann. Don't get
Rhapsody
me
win.
wrong. It'd be better than a Bohemian Rhapsody win because at least there's some interesting filmmaking going on. But come on,
That'd be
no.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
I'm
about
locking in
you?
Fablemans for me.
Anything that would actually piss you off with the Oscars?
Piss me off. Jimmy Kimmel announcing it? Like, I don't, no, not really.
Yeah.
I guess my only thing would be whatever wins, deserving it, but then getting overshadowed by whatever else. It's to me, it's not so much the win as much as the repercussions afterwards, I guess. But
Yeah, and it's
yeah,
like you talked about. We want the awards to spread the love around because, like, we both really loved Everything Everywhere All at Once. We also both really loved The Fablemans, and we both really loved Tar. I at least really loved Banshees. I know you liked it too. Like, there's so many good movies that came out last year. I thought it was one of the best movie years that we've had in a while, and I think the crop
yeah.
of movies that got recognized by the Oscar nominations is also one of the best crops we've had in a while. And it would just kind of suck if to wake up on March 13th and
All
everything
quiet.
or wins every award.
It would be awesome. We'll see. We'll see. It is a better lineup than last year, so shout out to
Yeah,
everyone who put this year together and everyone who made movies last year. If you made a movie last year, congratulations. We loved
right?
it. We supported it. Probably covered it here on Intercut, but I'm excited. We're wrapping up 2022 with what's going to be a very exciting Oscars. A lot of eyes on it,
Yeah.
especially because of last year. So, anything else you're
We
excited
haven't had
for
a
for the
chance.
ceremony?
Yeah, I was going to ask because we haven't really had a chance to talk about the Indie Spirits or the Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah.
Um, were there any highlights you had watching those award shows? Like, I thought the Screen Actors Guild actually really went smoothly. Commercial free because it's on Netflix, on YouTube. They let the speeches run. They let people curse. It was kind of like a loose, fun vibe, similar to the Golden Globes. I thought it was excellent. Like, even the times that they had like more comedic bits really worked for me, as opposed to whatever Hassan Minaj was trying to do at the Indie Spirit Awards.
Yeah, Hassan was. I had heard about it, then I saw it, and I wish I had never seen it. That hurt so bad to watch, uh, because I'm a fan of hosting. Like I see the art in hosting,
Yeah,
so
and we
it
like
was
Hassan's
terrible to
material
experience.
normally.
We're about to watch him at South by. He's gonna be in a movie called Mustache, but we're not doing YouTube thumbnails at South by, sir. Yeah,
Kate
I like what
Blanchett
you said about
actually
this.
did him a huge favor in saving
Yeah,
that
she
bit
did.
because, like, it actually ended up being kind of funny because she bailed on it.
Marissa Tomei though, that's what locked it in as like, all right,
Yeah,
this that was a
none
solidified,
of them.
like that was the union of actors speaking.
Yeah,
Nah, the SAG Awards, the way
it,
that
I,
they streamed it, better than what they were streaming on Netflix. I worry that the shift over to Netflix, seeing how they just did a stream, it's gonna hurt it. I
right.
think they need to keep it on YouTube. I think there's a lot more love going on there, and comparing it to the Golden Globes is a really great way to put it because if you can get more traction and more accessibility for people to watch the show, you can become the next award show. We titled this whole section "The Road to the Oscars." Well, what is that one that precedes it? Weren't the
Mhm.
Indie Spirit Awards the ones who wanted to be slick and try to do it the Saturday before? What happened?
I don't know why they moved off of that. And that was great branding in my opinion. And now they
It,
surprised me when they come up a week early.
I will say this year has been the most interesting awards run because of all the memes that have come out of it. From
Mm.
Angela Bassett doing the thing to the Golden Globes pianist being told to shut up by Michelle Yeoh or they'll get beat up. There was just so many moments in this award season that I think it's been the funnest. Many times we just hear
Yeah.
reports, but there's never really clips. They have learned. Put some images out there, and people will get the
Hmm.
word of mouth. Not just for the award ceremonies that need it, but it's been really great traction for the campaigns. So I'm curious to see how they continue to develop it. Stop making it difficult for people to watch these things, and who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
you won't be canceled as an award show. You'll have a good future. You had any
Absolutely.
highlights?
Well, so like we were saying, I like the Screen Actors Guild. It's also like I think that they the Screen Actors Guild is good because they do this thing where everybody's really celebrating acting, right? They do that bit like I am an actor. And it's they recognize that at a show that awards the best in movies and TV, we should be excited about movies and TV. That's where I think Hassan went wrong at the Indie Spirits because Indie Spirits aren't the awards where you're supposed to make fun of Hollywood for being full of itself. Indie Spirits are the awards where you embrace that these are the scrappy underdogs. These are the movies
Yeah.
that fight for recognition amongst a slate of bigger blockbusters out there. Like you can do that like this is all stupid thing at the Golden Globes. You can maybe even get away with it at the Oscars, but like you got to know what show you're hosting, and that's my hope also going into the Oscars is that Kimmel
Yeah.
recognizes that like the people tuning in like the movies. We want to see them be celebrated. Don't undercut the films. Don't diminish them. I find what's special about them and find ways to make them funny because of that. Don't just like make fun of us for even caring.
I agree. I don't think Jimmy Kimmel will have it in there, but I will tell you, there's
Yeah.
still one award ceremony that I'm looking forward to, and that is the Intercut Awards, which is going to be coming out on
Yeah.
South by right before the Oscars.
Yeah.
All of our
The
intercuties out there,
intercuties.
we get a bunch of messages from y'all. We have done some posts in the past, but if you let us know down below what your favorite movies were for the week, or for the year in
Yeah.
2022, that's something that we definitely want to add as a part of the ceremony. We'll probably link down last year's. Personally, we do our top 10 list. Those are some of our best performing videos. But the Intercut Awards, my favorite video that we make. We get
Yeah.
into our favorite acting. Like what you just said about a host really caring about the movies, that is when us as hosts really care about the movies. Like it's more than our
Yeah.
top 10. It's our top 10 plus everything else. So I'm looking forward
Hmm.
to getting that ceremony ready right before the Oscars, talking about what our
Last
favorites were, and y'all letting us know your favorites too.
exactly. Last year we even featured some clips for some from some inner cuties. So if people wanted to
Ooh.
send clips that were 30 seconds or less, just talking about your favorite aspect of a movie, not like your favorite film, but who was your favorite actor in a film last year? What film had your favorite cinematography last year? And if you can send a 30-second or less clip to intercutpod@gmail.com, we might even feature it during our ceremony. So just a little shout out for the inner cuties if you want to
There's a time
help us
lock there
put
though.
together our next video. That one's probably
Yup.
coming later this week, so get on that.
Mm-hmm. So we'll post up something on social. So keep an eye out for that. Just a reminder to where to send that in, because yeah, it's gonna be an exciting week that we have, bro. Another film festival, another ceremony,
Yeah.
finales, so much more to come in. To the point that everything's on the horizon. Our picks for the week are really just Creed at this point.
Yeah.
There's not really much else that had come out. I guess there's like an RRR fan celebration that people could have done at some point. But other than that, like Creed, go watch Creed.
Yeah. Poker
Go watch
Face
the
ending
finale to
this
Poker
week.
Face.
We'll
Uh,
probably do a longer video on Poker Face at some point.
oh, we'll have to because it's been one of the best. But
Yeah.
other than that, any wrap ups on the Oscars before we talk about where they can find you, Zach?
No, I'm just excited for it, and we might be live streaming after the Oscars. So pay attention to
Yes, sir.
Intercut socials, and we'll update on whether or not we got that live stream going. We're probably doing something because that's the night of the Oscars. It's the night of the Last of Us finale. We're gonna have to check in some way because we're gonna be at South by Southwest. just keep it locked to Intercut Pod on YouTube, on your favorite podcatcher, and we'll be back with some content soon.
So if you need to find out, you can just head on over to what, Zach?
Intercut Pod on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, or just follow the pod on whatever your favorite podcatcher is.
You can catch the live videos here on youtube.com where we go through all of the weekend must-watch every week. We're going to have all of our South by coverage. If you're heading over to Austin, we have an entire preview to let you know everything that you need to be on the radar for. A big shout out to all the Intercuties who listen live, all of the patrons, all of the iTunes listeners who leave us that beautiful 5-star review. Don't forget to leave us a comment, drop a like, follow all the socials like Zach said at Intercut Pod, and until next time, keep watching movies, and we'll send you some gloves. Take care.